are listening to Words with the Mad Coach. I am Mad Coach. I am Mad Coach. I am. I am Mad Coach. I am Mad Coach. I am. You are listening to Words with the Mad Coach. Mad World, it's me, Coach Sess. It's been a minute on the YouTube. I'm back dealing with another round of COVID. Yeah, I only had like a day of real symptoms, but I still took about a week away from the gym just to make sure I was good. Those lingering effects, they're worse than the actual COVID itself. That stuff just gets you the brain fog, especially when I had it the first time a year ago or so. And, my memory was impacted. I was super weak in my body back then. And my motivation to do anything, that took me almost 2 months to recover from. Like, it was 14 days of sit down time, because basically I couldn't even put my feet on the ground. I couldn't bear my own weight. Dizzy, and even after the shots, just better, as far as taking it. Like I said, the actual symptoms only lasted a day this time around, but just the recovery part, where you just kind of in a daze, you don't feel like doing anything. But I'm all good now, back to being me, whatever that means. And what does it mean to be the Mad Coach? At one point I wanted to project this image of being this mad scientist, but I realized you have to be true to yourself. And, I am motivated and determined. And that phrase isn't always about my motivation and my determination. It's about helping others get to where they want to get to. If you've been following me on Facebook, you know that longtime friend, training partner, trainee, fighter, Da'mon Blackshear has made it to the UFC. And that's important for me because this is somebody who, whether it be a training session or going to a fight, man, we put in a lot of road miles just really talking about our lives, the history, not just MMA. And this is a kid who I really care for, and I'm glad to see that he's made it to the UFC. And people think, that there's no gratitude there. There's tons of gratitude coming from Da'mon to me. Just because I'm not going with him or whatever does not mean that there's an issue. A lot of you don't know that when one time I trained Jason Mayhem Miller. And when he made it to the UFC, he wanted me to go. And I said no. When Da'mon, a couple of years ago, got an invite to Bellator, I was the first person that Da'mon reached out to, and I said no. Those big shows like that, I've had my moment in the sun with, HBO, PayPerViews, and stuff like that. It's not me. It's just not me. I love being the guy behind the scenes, working with the fighters. I don't necessarily need to be on those bigger venues unless there's something specific that the other corner people or coaches can't bring to the table, and it's only a unique situation. If I'm the only one available, that would be a unique situation. But for the most part, being in those environments are very taxing. 3 and 4 day hotel stays. The travel, if I can avoid it, I tend to avoid those things. When I was doing pay-per-views and HBOs with boxers, man, you're talking about being away for almost an entire week because of the process. And at the time when I was running my gym, I was a solopreneur, so there was nobody to take care of things, back home. So basically my gym would be shut down for an entire week almost, or at least the doors would be open and it'd be like an open mat, open gyms type situation, and I might just have somebody keep an eye on things, but there were no classes being taught, and that was my main push back then. So until I get a little bit more infrastructure, just going to these bigger shows, just not on my agenda. But that doesn't make me less attentive to what I do in the gym, the day-to-day stuff. In fact, it makes me work harder to make sure that the fighter is prepared. Anytime I have a fighter that is training between me and other coaches, other gyms, or a remote situation, I dig deep. I go hard. I try to do what I need to do as if I was with that person every day. So I cannot work harder the less connection that I have. And I kind of want to talk about accepting assignments. A lot of people out here want to be coaches, and they want to charge people ridiculous amounts of money for no results. Basically, they don't bring any value. And I'm not saying that based on my observation. I'm saying it because I'm hearing it from the fighters themselves, saying, hey, that person really didn't give me what I was looking for. Not so much that they didn't help. They might have helped them in a way that demonstrated the coach's ability to coach, but not his ability to specifically talk about what that client wanted to talk about or wanted to learn. And whenever we're going to offer someone value, it has to be within the same vein of the thing that they are attracted to, and then beyond that. If somebody wants to, buy a car and you're talking about trucks, it's not going to work out. They want to buy the product they're looking for, the service they're looking for. All that extra stuff is a selling point once you win them over with the thing that they're actually after. And whenever you take on these clients, before you start charging them an absorbent amount of money, keep in mind that time is important. If you're spreading yourself thin, trying to just get as many clients as you can, then they can tell that you're spreading yourself thin. You're just trying to charge to get more, to do more seminars, to do more workshops, to train individuals, Zoom, however your distribution method is, whether it's in person, remote. But they can tell that you're dividing a lot of your time, and so make sure you're not taking on too many clients within certain time frames. So I would say before you start taking on too many, either you have an infrastructure of other coaches who can do what you do, and you can divvy up some of those assignments, or you separate things so that the overlap only happens toward the tail end of the next assignment. Make sure you have a passion for what you do. When I say passion, one of the words I like to use when it comes to passion is compassion. If you have compassion for others, then there's a certain level of patience that comes with it. There's a certain level of endurance that comes with it. And when you have a passion for something, that means you taking the time to learn at a level that most people don't have. And so when you deliver back the message, they really get it. They really feel, they almost become empathetic to the things that you're expressing. It's almost like they're in your shoes. My buddy Nick Lavery wrote a book, Objective Secure. You've heard me talk about it before, and I like to reference some of the things that he talks about in the book, because these are like training principles that as a fight coach that I just find myself using all the time. And I can pull from my own experience, but he's already put it into words, so I don't need to rewrite the book. I don't need to reinvent the wheel. Under the section, I will always place the mission first. One is in bold letters, and it talks about laziness due to a lack of passion. In other words, we aren't pursuing a dream or we're pursuing the wrong dream. We have no objective to secure. And so when we talk about passion, make sure you're not just trying to recruit clients and because you went to YouTube and saw some stuff that you could easily remember and put out, and you just put out a bunch of information. And that works if the client doesn't know that information. Yeah, you get lucky, but people really want to go deep these days. They don't want to just want to know about the new thing, the new what, and they don't want to just know about the new why they should do this thing or why it's happening. They really want to know how. People want what you want, and you got to be able to give them that how. If you can't give them that how, they're not going to get results. And so you're likely to lose repeat customers, repeat clients. Another thing Nick says in his book, improper planning, and it says Parkinson's law suggests work expands to fill the space and time available for its completion, and that takes us back to time, that proper planning. Again, don't have too many clients, and when you are preparing, make sure that you organize the information in a way that is best suited for the particular client. I'll give you an example. Cody Malte of Elevate MMA brought me in to do a seminar for them, and I think I had close to 4 weeks lead time, so I studied a lot in terms of who the fighters were in that gym, their past results, and I looked at things that would benefit them, and that's what I brought to the seminar, and that's what I spent my time on. I could have taken 30 plus years of experience and gone a lot of different places, but the way I prepared that seminar for them was based on fight competition drills that I would use and still use. Now, there have been other seminars I've done, and they were more information based because they only had maybe one fighter in that crew. Cody had tons of fighters, and I knew if I wanted to catch their attention, I had to give them something that they could be able to use right away. The gyms that have more casual students or tons of kids, just something new and different sometimes is all that is needed. So make sure that whatever you're planning, is relevant to the client that you're working for at the time. Make sure you know your scope of work, your scope of knowledge. Make sure that your knowledge, definitely comes from some level of experience in terms of what you're doing, and not just regurgitation of what you've heard other coaches talk about or something you got off of YouTube. Just getting back to Nick's book here, again, Workaholic Syndrome. And he says, high performers seek to create more value with less effort, whereas workaholics seek to simply do more. And so that goes back to what I was saying about, your scope of work. Your scope of knowledge, rather. Don't just say stuff that you've heard over the years, regurgitated. Give your clients the real you. Give them those things that you've discussed and talked about in private conversations that, you reserve for your closest of friends, and theories that you've been working on. Bring them into that element, bring them into that world, that inner circle almost, and that's where the value's got to be. Your intimate thoughts, your intimate, and make sure you're ready to express it. Don't just put things out just to have it put out. You've tested a few theories, things are starting to get good results, and now you want to share it with the world. And an example for me is my cash drill. I worked on the cash drill for about 6 months before I started sharing it with the entire team. There were only 1 or 2 fighters that helped me for about 6 months to develop it, and then finally, when I saw the breakthrough, I saw the light, then boom, I started sharing it. I started teaching it in a way that it was easy to remember. It takes about 5 minutes to remember roughly 27 movements, and boom, I was on my way. But the time to develop it was about 6 months, honestly. And then once I saw what I had, that it was organic. The beautiful part about it is it's something that I actually teach, but I don't teach the trainee how to teach it. I found that organically they pick up on that on their own. So that drill has been very important to me over the years. Let me recap. Time. Make sure you have the time to do the thing that you say you're going to do. And make sure you're there fully committed mentally, physically for that client. Passion. Make sure you have a true desire for people, for number one. But as far as like the subject matter, if you're teaching arm locks, then teach arm locks. If that's what you're good at, teach arm locks. Don't go into a seminar. If you're a good jiu-jitsu guy, don't go into a seminar. Start teaching leg kicks. Stay within your scope of knowledge and give your value from that. Like I said, give them the basics, but know your audience. And if you feel like they can handle a little bit more, give them a little bit more. And then preparation. Make sure you take the time to organize your material. Think about who your client is, what they need to learn, the way they need to learn it, the gender, the age groups that are going to be there, the background. If you're dealing with more police officers, that's going to be at your seminar versus real estate agents who have different set of problems. Let all that relate back to the content that you're bringing to them for the workshop, seminar, or whatever it is that you're doing. The last thing is definitely get results. Show them the results. One of the things I did with Elevate, I was working with Elizabeth Schroeder, a little bruisey, and I improved her hand speed, or punching speed, not just her hand speed, but her punching speed within one session. Be able to do something like that, because unless you're going to train with them for a longer period of time, then you want to be able to show some form of a result. I've watched guys who post online on Roy Marsh's posts, and they'll say, hey, I got my first choke watching this video. I got my first leg lock watching this video. So make sure that whatever it is you're putting out, the people or the client or the consumer can get results from it. And so you need to test out your results in the gym before you ever get to the point where you have clients. I am Coach Sess, and you've had words with the Mad Coach.